I guess I realized I was gay before I knew the word.
I'm not sure the exact date, but I would say that I was either 12 or 13 years old.
I had only girlfriends, basically, and not the girlfriends.
I always knew I was gay, or at least something different.
I distinctly remember being about 5 and cutting a picture of Aladdin out of my picture book because I thought he was really cute.
I definitely enjoyed being April O'Neil from the Ninja Turtles.
The only gay person I think I knew at that time was Elton John.
And I realized that I was more interested in the male flesh than in the scantily clad women.
Once I hit puberty, I knew I was gay.
And I was always paid last because I was very unathletic and I hated sports.
And as soon as I had a word to put it to, I knew that's what I was.
I knew that there would be some people that would have a problem with it or who would disapprove.
I think I just didn't have the strength at the time to go to school every single day feeling as lonely and as ugly as I already felt.
I definitely felt ostracized by my peers.
I felt like I wasn't acknowledging every part of who I was.
I think the person that may have given me the most trouble at the beginning was my mother, because she had rather 19th century image of what she expected for me to do in my marriage, like marry an English lord with a castle and hunt.
I did keep it a secret. I believe I realized I was, I knew to call it gay when I was about 12, and I didn't come out till I was about 15.
I had a lot of shame about it.
Like a lot of gay kids, I was picked on, I was bullied on the playground.
Very overweight. I was almost 400 pounds when I was in high school. Very bookish and very shy.
The kids in my class called me Pris.
And I just thought it was wrong forever.
My first and initial feeling was confusion. I was incredibly naive when I left home for college, never dated anyone, didn't know anyone who was gay, had no familiarity with it at all.
I not only submerged it and hid it, but I started drinking. And over the years it progressed, and I became an alcoholic, and I was an alcoholic for quite some time.
I just thought, oh, I'll like girls eventually.
Making sure I didn't say the wrong thing or come off too feminine or accidentally stare at a guy in the locker room when my hormones were kind of doing what they were doing.
I was very anxious. I became very paranoid. It was a very frightening time.
I definitely think that was the hardest thing is that there was just this pressure always to be like kind of acting to play the role of the straight man and not necessarily be yourself. If
I did any of those things, then I knew that life would just get worse because I'd be a target now.
I got taunted a lot, and they would drop, like the F word or just, call me gay.
Queer, homo.
I would have my clothes thrown out as I was changing. I got punched on more than one occasion.
I was being isolated. No one wanted to hear what I had to say. No one cared who I was. I had basically no reason to be there, and I didn't ever fit in.
And seeing people with such hatred is really painful, and it's frightening also.
Kids are horrible, and I'm so bad I don't fight, and I get so frustrated and I don't know what to say, so I could never fight back, and I just would shake. I would be so mad.
Even recognizing that there was a part of me that thought I might be bisexual took a very long time until I got to college and I realized that bisexuality was an orientation and there was more of a spectrum than just a very strong black and white about it.
I just busied myself in school and sports and that kind of thing just so that I really wouldn't have time to think about sexuality.
That's why I kind of kept it internal.
I didn't have a light at the end of the tunnel. I was in despair.
And I just wanted to talk to someone about it.
And there was a gay support group at the college.
I found support in my friends, mainly.
I really found comfort in some young adult fiction that had been published.
I would escape into music, I would escape into books. I was a good student.
I love Buffy. I used to watch Buffy every Tuesday night.
Virginia Woolf, Oscar Wilde, particularly Gertrude Stein, who I'd studied when I'd been in college.
I started writing. I started doing stand-up comedy.
I came out to my parents first.
And I just told her I was gay while we were ordering, and she was just like floored. We were in the drive-thru and she like slammed her brakes, and she was like, gay? And we're Hispanic. And she's like, Niño, like, why didn't you tell me this sooner?
It felt so strange to actually say it out loud to somebody.
I'm gay.
He was just so open to it. He had to listen to what I said. He treated me like a human being.
They both laughed and they said, well, we're happy to find out that you're finally dealing with something that we've known all along.
I wish in hindsight that I had told them sooner, because the first thing they said to me was, why didn't you tell us sooner? We could have helped you.
To have that finally out in the open, it's a relief. It's a huge relief.
I would never have thought that deeply before if I hadn't had the experience of coming out.
I'm in a relationship with my partner for 11 years now, have a great job, have a wonderful chihuahua, you know.
Overall, looking back, I know that who I am now is a product of all the places I've been and all the things that I've done, good or bad.
Day of the ceremony and the party was by far the happiest day of my life.
I'm mad that I spent so much of my life being shy about it or scared of it at all, when it's ended up being really nice so far.
I met a wonderful woman shortly after I came out, and we're still together now. We've been together, we're going on 20 years now.
But I do wish that I had taken that opportunity to start talking about it a little bit earlier.
I think it's just gotten better for me in that I don't carry around the same anxieties that I used to. I don't worry about, you know, the way I talk. I don't worry about, you know, how I gesture or what I wear.
Yeah, anything I carry with me is not because I'm emotionally scarred, but rather I just wish I would have like shrugged it off instead of taking it so seriously, because all those kids that made fun of me now add me as friends on Facebook.
If people are bullying you, then chances are they have their own issues.
We really are allowed to define ourselves in our own terms.
You don't have to tailor yourself to everyone else, to every situation.
You can object to the idea in principle, but when you meet someone who's wonderful, you fall in love just like your daughter or son does, and that's what happened with my mother and with Susan.
I had teachers who were really cool and were very encouraging.
That's where I found my strength, was in my friends, my core group of friends that, you know, already knew me, already loved me for who I was, and, you know, coming out as gay to them didn't make a difference to them, and that really helped me through that process.
I live a life where I can feel comfortable and feel like I have people that care about me.
I think there's a whole world out there of people who are dying to meet you.
And there are a lot of people out there just like you, and it really helps you to start the process to self-acceptance.
But I will say we all get to where we get to, and all of that is part of who I am now.
It made me know who I am. It just solidified that this is who I am.
I mean, I'm living a normal life, like any other person on the street, except I have my partner is a man, and you know, it's just wonderful. I wouldn't change a thing.
She's a real sweet, lovely person, and going through all of that was worth it to get to meet her.
Once it stops being something to be ashamed of, it starts being something that's just a truth. It starts being who you are.
But at the end, it does get better.
It gets 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 better.
You can write your own future.